before we even get talking about brows, the ultimate brow course from OhSoFabulash and Brows featuring moi will be dropping. It was also dropped on November 2nd. We're having some technical issues, so we're pushing it back a few days. But it's going to be dropping. This brow course will involve, it'll be the first chapter. It's a great price. It's going to give you everything, all the know-how, everything you need to know about brows. Whether you're a brow professional, seasoned brow professional, whether you're just someone who just an aficionado and you love brows, this is going to be for you. Okay, so that's going to be coming up. So stay tuned to OhSoFabulash and make sure you hit the like and follow button. Make sure you hit the button on Halloween. Come on in, Linda. Okay, so how should I shape... Hang on. Where was that first question? This I really wanted to get to. Oh, okay. Hang on one second. How often should I shape or trim my brows? I mean, it would seem pretty like straightforward. You should basically, depending on how your brows grow, it's good to get to your brows every 2 to 3 weeks. The same as your lashes. If you have lash extensions, you want to get your brows fitted, changed, cleaned up every 2 to 3 weeks. If you are someone whose brows go out very sparsely, obviously, you can wait on that. And you should come in about every 3 to 4 weeks. But the thing is, like, if you have super, super, super thick brows, I mean, you don't want to wait, as long as you can. Then you come in, when you're wearing like a bush on your face, I mean, like, be real, because then it takes forever. And it's more painful, and you got to sit there. Your neck hurts, so you don't want to do that. So every 2 to 3 weeks is a really good way to do it. Can I tint my brows at home safely? Well, you can. The answer is yes. If you're someone who's good with color, and if you have a good color product, at OhSoFabulash and Brows, we use some great products to tint your brows that are not harmful to your skin. And so I would recommend that if you want to tint your brows, you come to OhSoFabulash. Oh, by the way, there is a difference between tinting and a henna brow. Okay? There's a difference. So if you come in, if you call OhSoFabulash and Brows, and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to tint my brows. I just want you to know that tinting is only tinting the hair that exists. The hair that you have is what gets colored, okay? Not the skin, okay? A henna brow is actually tinting the skin, and it'll leave sort of that shadow on the brow. So they're two different values. Although they will both last about 2 to 3 weeks if you're really good with it. Once it's done, you don't want to be using oils, creams, anything on your brows. You want to just kind of leave your brows, let them be, let them breathe. You want to let it breathe. Hi, thanks for joining in. Zoberto, Noor, Vicky, Thomas, thank you for joining in. Desreen, thank you for joining in. Hit that button, like, tell your friends, and especially follow. Okay. Again, if you have any questions for the Brow Queen, put them in the comments and I will be happy to answer them. How can I grow back sparse areas naturally? You get one or two things. You either get microblading. That's a great way. Or you want to use something like castor oil. Castor oil is a really good remedy for those of you whose brows are very, very sparse. You have to use it regularly. So it's very thick. Now castor oil penetrates deep into the skin. You put the castor oil on your brows and that will help them to grow. Is waxing, threading, or tweezing better for sensitive skin? Tweezing. Tweezing is best for sensitive skin. Threading is good. It's a little bit painful, okay? Because with threading, you have to like be kind of a contortionist. You gotta like hold your skin, pull your skin out, this, that, the other thing. Waxing is fine, providing that you have someone who's really well versed and who's very talented in the art of waxing, such as our Melissa. Melissa does waxing. She does lip and brow waxing at OhSoFabulash and Brows. So to answer your question, tweezing, I personally would say that tweezing is the best way to go. Melissa also does tweezing, but brow waxing is also good. Okay. How How do I get the clean lifted brow mapping look I see on professionals without overdoing it? That's a good question. That's a good question. Okay, a clean lifted look. So there are two parts to this, okay? If you want a clean lifted look to your brow, okay, I would say that this is a clean lifted look. Would you say that's a clean lifted look? That's a clean lifted look. Okay. First of all, you have to tweeze them properly. Okay, you can't get a clean lifted look unless they're properly tweezed. So that's the first thing. Okay. Secondly, and this is very important, and I say this time and time again, whether you are a brow professional or just an eyebrow aficionado, the space between, let me take off my glasses. The space between your brow and your eye should be the space of one eye. You follow? So between your brow and your eye, you should have one eye. And by the way, I go over all of this on our brow course, which we'll be dropping. I'm not going to give you the name or anything like that. It's a big surprise. But I'm going to go all over this in detail with you. So between your eye and your brow, make sure that you have a space of one eye. If it's less than one eye, that means your brows sit low, which is fine. A lot of people have brows that sit low and it's gorgeous. But if you want to get that lifted look, then what you want to do is you want to open it a little bit more so that it's a little bit more than one eye. Okay? You don't want to look like you've had, Botox like that. Nobody wants that. I mean, maybe some people do. I just don't know. I'm not a proponent of Botoxing. Just not. But anyway, I digress. Open eye. Lift your arch a little bit. Remember the spatial parameters. One eye between your brow and your own eye. Okay? Again, without overdoing it, it's up to you. If you want to know if you've overdone it, will you come to see me or Melissa? I'm at OhSoFabulash and Brows every Wednesday. Melissa's there on Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. But she goes out of town once a month for a week. Okay, so if you want to know more about that, you can always call OhSoFabulash and Brows. Any questions from my live people? Any questions? All right, let me have a sip of my margarita, because I always have a margarita. You know me. Let me just tell you, shout out to me, because Sunday is my birthday. So I'm feeling especially sassy tonight. So if you're jumping on for the first time and meeting me for the first time, you're saying, wow, this woman's very, very sassy. Yes. Yes. I'm feeling very sassy tonight. Okay. Okay, so let's get to our next question. From the Brow Queen. Okay, how can I train my eye to recognize imbalance faster when measuring or sketching? I think I mentioned this before. If I have, you'll have to forgive me, but I'm just going to go over it once again. If you're a brow professional, if you're working on someone's brows, you're working on them from the front, right? So you're looking at them, which is fine. Really, really important. As do hair professionals, you want to go around to the other side of the chair and look at that person straight on from the back. So you're facing the mirror with them. This way, you will have a different visual as to the symmetry of their brows. I know it sounds crazy. I mean, it would sound, it sounds like logical. If you're looking at someone, you're going to see how their brows are. Even myself, I've been doing this forever. It's like, I think I have it and I usually do, 99% of the time. But if I were to, on every single person, go around and go, from the back and look in the mirror with them, I would see a disparity. You will be more likely to find disparity in their brows. Okay, so that's a tip. Think of yourself when doing brows. Think of yourself as a hairdresser would. Same thing. It'll give you a totally different perspective as to the symmetry of the client's brows. Thank you for joining. Waterdown, Bonnie, Sherry, Katie, KFC1, thanks for joining. If you have any questions about brows, please feel free to drop it in the comments. Okay, you like my hat? I got all dressed up for you guys for Halloween. Are you guys going out for Halloween? I'm going out. I'm having a party by myself, but I'm one of those people. You know, I can party by myself. I have no problem with that. Really. Okay, so what are the top brow products every tool, every pro should have in their kit right now? Obviously, there are some things that you want to have a good pencil. You definitely want a good pencil. You want a good scissor. And here's the thing. A good scissor, when you're using a scissor, try to find a scissor that's curved slightly. As opposed to a straight scissor, okay? Find a slightly curved scissor to trim. You'll get a better edge. You'll get a better, because our faces are not one-dimensional. We are three-dimensional, okay? So find a scissor that will be have like a slight curve to it. Slight curve. I wish I had it here. I don't have it here. And that'll help you, excuse me, when it comes to doing brows, okay? Also, a measuring tool wouldn't be bad. If you really want to get precision, you get yourself a measuring tool. And what else? And I think that's the most important thing. A good pencil, a really good pencil, I think is primordial. And I think that with that, you know what it is? You have to get back to basics, because we live in an age where there is so much, there are so many things to choose from. When you get back to the basics of brows, it's about tweezing them or cleaning them well and drawing them in just enough so that they look natural. Now, for those of you who want a look that's not natural, who want to do an evening look, well, then go right ahead. But as I always say, the brow should be no darker than the ingrowth of your hair. Okay, so that's something also to keep in mind. Okay, and have good lighting. When doing brows, you have to have good lighting. If you have crappy lighting, it's just not going to work. I mean, you all know that because you're probably all younger than I am, so that kind of goes without saying. How can I create consistent results for every? And this is for the brow pros. Okay, how can I create consistent results for every client, even with different hair growth patterns? Listen to me. Brow hairs grow 3 different ways, okay? Brow hairs are either going to grow up, horizontally, and most often they'll grow downward, okay? So most of them, you'll see they grow up in the front, they lean, they do like a little turn, a downturn, and they grow down, okay? So just as in microblading, when I work on someone's brows, even with a pencil, I tend to sort of create these micro strokes and fill in the brows in the direction of the brow hairs. Now, obviously, some people are going to come in and, you're going to find people with brows like that, like scraggly. Okay, you got to attack it. Okay, someone has really scraggly brows. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to trim. Because if they're scraggly and they're sparse, you want to keep as much of the hair as possible without taking out the hair, because you want to create mass, okay? You want to leave that opaqueness to the brow. So the first thing you want to do, if someone has sparse brows and their brows need a lot of help because they haven't trimmed their brows since 1802, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to trim the brow. Once you've trimmed the brow, then you go in and you tweeze. Okay? Then you go in and you tweeze. What was the question? Oh, consistent even with different hair growth patterns. Okay, so that's one thing. Let me get back to what I was saying originally. So when the brows are growing either upward, downward, or horizontally, you want to mimic sort of that growth. So where's my brow pencil? I'm going to show you something. So this is our eyebrow OSF brow pencil, okay? This is available on our website. Now, this is the thing. When I show my clients how to do their own brows, I tell them first and foremost, I love this track. I love this track. I tell them to first and foremost, do upward motions and to the side. Find the arch. So first you're doing this. I can't see a darn thing without my glasses. So I'm just winging it. I just want you all to know. Okay? Okay. So you're going to go up and over. That's number one. Number two, find the highest hair. From the highest hair, you come down in a straight line to the edge of the tail. Remember, the tail should be parallel to your eye contour. I've already talked about this. If you missed out on it, well, I'm very sorry, but I'm telling you now. Okay? Okay. So once that's done, from the highest point where I gotta put my glasses back on. Okay. Okay. So from the highest point right there, okay? You see that? You're gonna go in little teeny tiny downstrokes from the top to where it turns. So my brows turn right here. So from the tippy top of that corner of the brow, right? So I'm like right there at the tippy top. You're gonna go down. This is Yusef Days on drums. He's like one of my favorite drummers right now. Great groove. Okay? Then you can go ahead on the under part and then fill in here going out towards the tail. What I'm trying to tell you is that you want to mimic the growth of the brow. So if your brows are growing down, you can very easily sort of make little lines going down and then fill it in afterwards and then brush it through with a spoolie. So you take, okay, this is what you're going to do. And I'm not talking about brow professionals, I'm talking about people at home. This is what you're going to do. You do your foundation, okay? Do your foundation. Lightly powder your brow. And I mean lightly. Take your pencil. Shape your brow with the pencil. Run it through with a spoolie, whether it's a spoolie on the ends of this or any spoolie. Run it through with a spoolie. Okay? And then you can go ahead and use a lamination or a holder. We used to do back in the days. Back in the days, it was hairspray. It was a spoolie brush, Aquanet hairspray, and you need to brush up your brows. Now you know how old I am. No, I'm not kidding. That's what we did. Makeup artists used to use Aquanet to set clients' makeup. How many of you knew that? We did that. That was early 90s. Anyway, I digress. Once again. So, where was the question? So, consistent everyone. Design. Okay. So, did I answer your question? I hope that I answered your question. Okay. So, try to draw the brow as with the growth of the actual hair. Okay. I have time for one more question. Lady Lou, thanks for joining. KFC, thanks for joining. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What are the small refinements that separate a good brow artist from a master brow artist? You know what it is? It's detail. It's detail. And it's also the hand. A seasoned brow artist, when they're doing your brows, you will not even feel their hand on your face. Okay? You'll feel a feather on your face. Someone who's doing your brows, who's pushing you around and he's twisting your head and just like, you know, turn left, turn right. You know, that is not a seasoned brow professional. Okay? You want someone with a very light, delicate, and assured hand. Okay? And I think that really separates a good brow artist from a top-of-the-line brow artist. A top-of-the-line brow artist will look at every single aspect of the brow. Shape of the brow, color, skin tone, and moreover, they'll look at the style of their client. They'll look at your style. Because, so your brows there has to be cohesion. I'm having a hot flash. Excuse me. What is this? There has to be cohesion. Okay, so if your client is sort of very, very simple, very fair, very, very extremely light and very, tiny and skinny and you want to do a brow that's going to be just enough for her. If someone has like, is very dark hair, heavier, wears a lot of makeup, like so, well then go ahead and, so it's about understanding and connecting with your client and understanding what it is they require and listening to them. Now, as a brow professional, you are there to guide them, and you are supposed to know more than they do. Okay, you're supposed to know, but you have to first begin at the baseline, which is what they're looking for. Okay, and then a seasoned brow professional will hopefully sort of coerce you in the nicest of ways into something that will look that's more appropriate for your face shape. Okay, so of course the seasoned brow professional will also look at face shape, eye placement, and all of this. Okay, I hope that answered your questions. Okay, all right, 7:28. So my God, the time goes so quickly. Before I go, I just want to once again go over our brow products. Thank you guys for joining in. If you've just joined in, I'm so sorry. I'm on every Friday night. We do our Friday live Q&A on brows from 7 to 7:30. I can go on until the bricky dawn. Not a problem, but I'm not, because I'm getting off in a couple of minutes. But before I do, at OSF, our Power Brow products, amazing. Our Power Brow Pencil is on sale on our website, www.OhSoFabulash and Brows. Also, our Nourishing Serum, it's keratin for your brows. It's a brow Botox for brows and eyelashes.